Well, looks like I owe a certain game development studio an apology. Here I am thinking, all these years, with Game Freak's past track record, especially with Pokemon games, I'm thinking that they're just middle of the road and they're not quite capable of much. However, I just saw the trailer for Beast of Reincarnation. And oh my god, I literally cannot believe this is the same Game Freak. Yeah, I deeply apologize for calling you incompetent, because clearly what I saw in that trailer completely proves that false. In fact, this opens my eyes to an entirely different perspective about how Pokemon games are made. There are several people out there that saw the trailer for Beast of Reincarnation, and now they're randomly getting their hopes up that Generation 10 is going to look somewhat like that. Sorry, I'm trying my hardest not to laugh. I understand that we see a completely different side of Game Freak, but I'm going to make a few more points in this video that will completely disregard any of those claims. Now, you guys have the bar set way too high, and I believe it's a little naive to think that even though we've seen the new capabilities of Game Freak, that the new Pokemon games, especially Gen 10 that's coming out few years from now, is going to look anything like that, even if it's on the Switch 2. So if I am taking back what I said about Game Freak not being capable of making good games, why am I still thinking that both Pokemon Legends Z-A and future Pokemon games are not going to be that great? It's less so Game Freak being too incompetent to make good games, and more so the Pokemon Company being too restrictive on what they can do with making the Pokemon games. And I know I did once say in my prediction for Legends Z-A that there's not going to be any new Mega Evolutions in this game due to them not being able to handle the workload. However, I'm going to still keep that claim, but not necessarily anymore with Game Freak not being able to handle it. I think the Pokemon Company actively does not want them to put new forms in this game. My evidence now is Burning Diamond and Shining Pearl. How many people before that game came out were demanding, not even just wanting, but demanding Generation 4 remakes? They wanted it so badly. And we did eventually get that. And look how much of a half-assed project that is. Not only is it literally the bare minimum, it's so much of a bare minimum, I don't even want to call it a remake, I want to call it a port, to be honest. But they were also too cheap to put the entire game on an 8GB cartridge. So instead, they only paid for the 4GB cartridges and had a day one patch that covered the rest of the game. So it seems to me that Pokemon Company doesn't want to give these studios the time or even the budget to make a good product. And that says a lot. And why would they have to? They really don't, considering that any mainline game or the Legends series sells tens of millions of copies no matter what they put out. Why would they go the extra mile of putting new Mega Evolutions in this game? People just demanded Mega Evolution to come back, similar to how people demanded Generation 4 to come back. So, in reality, they can just do the same exact thing like they did with BDSP and do the bare minimum. As long as they have Mega Evolution in the game, because people were just saying, hey, we want Megas to come back. I mean, they didn't specify new ones were coming or not, so it's not like they lied or anything. It's just, again, they don't have to put that much effort into it. So even if Pokemon Company delayed Pokemon Legends Z-A, Game Freak still might not be able to do exactly what they wanted to do because of both the budget restraint and also Pokemon Company might just not want them to do it. And the marketing says everything. They've been over-promoting the current Mega Evolutions for the entire month now. They just had a whole retrospective on how Mega Evolution works and only showcased the current Mega Stones on there. It would be very odd to me for them to basically showcase what looks to be the entirety of the Mega Evolution mechanic in one article and then just add more Mega Stones in a month from now and just basically make that completely obsolete. It makes no sense. again, you're promoting the entirety of Mega Evolution on your website with that one post. You would have to update it later, wouldn't you? Again, it just doesn't seem to make much sense. Again, with the merch, the pre-orders, the TCG, all of it showcases only the current Mega Evolutions. Actually, Pokemon Horizons as well, now that I think about it. And even though I absolutely hate Mega Evolution, I'm actually going to be on your side for once. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? But hear me out. It doesn't make any sense to me, in a way, to bring this mechanic back after 7+ years, 10 years, I mean, if you count Let's Go, of it being absent from the franchise for so long, only to not expand upon and improve upon the entire thing. By not adding more Mega Evolutions to the game, it just seems like it's almost pointless to even bring back the mechanic at all. I mean, not entirely, because there's a lot of people out there that love the current ones and just, oh, they want to have Mega Gardevoir and that's one of their favorites. Oh, then they're going to be super excited to play the game again. So that's basically a game seller right there. But I see everywhere on Twitter and Instagram that people won't shut up about Mega Flygon. It ain't happening. Sorry. I don't care how much you protest to Pokemon Company in their comment sections of basically everything. It's not going to happen. Sorry. And on a side note, even if you do want Mega Flygon, just be respectful and don't literally treat everyone like garbage in the comments section because you're not getting what you want. That's a side tangent, but I've seen it happen and I'm sick of seeing it. But yeah, it would be incredibly insulting, honestly, to just have the mechanic come back and just not really expand upon it and just basically just using this as nostalgia bait. Honestly, it's been long enough, so yeah, I think they're literally using this as nostalgia bait. Similar to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Yeah, that comes full circle now, doesn't it? So it seems to me that this is less so Game Freak being incompetent and not being able to put new Mega Evolutions in the game, along with Pokemon Champions, but more so Pokemon Company not wanting to put the effort into it. Because they don't have to. They know that their franchise, I mean, again, look at the history. Sword and Shield was boring and bare minimum. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl was a copy-paste job. Scarlet and Violet didn't even run right until now. It took a whole console generation to fix that problem. And now, with Pokémon Legends Z-A. Pokémon Legends Arceus might be the only exception to that, even though the game has its own problems. However, in my opinion, I think that has the most effort put into it. And to give Legends Z-A credit, the real-time battling is also its own form of effort. So I can't deny that. But in terms of Mega Evolution, they know they don't have to add new forms. That's not in the budget. That's not in their playing cards. Actually, quite literally. Knowing that their games will sell no matter what, because let's be real, even if there isn't any new Mega Evolutions and you get pissed off about it, you're going to buy the game anyway. Don't fool me. You will. I know you will. To be honest, I'm more curious if this thing actually runs properly on the Switch 1. That's my biggest concern, honestly, because I am not falling for that malarkey again. I am not purchasing that game at all. If that game runs very poorly, well, that and the Power lawsuit is still going on, so I have yet another reason not to purchase it. So yeah, can't believe I'm saying it, but it just turns out that Game Freak was competent this entire time. I'm sorry for doubting you, but to be fair, Pokemon Company did not help that much, now did it? And now I can see why they wanted to step away, because when they're not being completely strangled by the restrictions of what Pokemon wants them to do, they can make some pretty damn good games now, huh? Oh, I mean, we only saw a trailer. We have to actually see how the game plays later, but from what I'm seeing, I'm impressed. Good on you guys. And as for Pokemon Legends Z-A, again, I cannot wait until I am inevitably right on July 22nd. To be fair, I don't want to be right, because that would suck to, again, repeating history, bring something back, and not even improve upon it. But I suppose that's what Pokemon is best at, right? doing the bare minimum and making maximum profit. Sorry, I'm still laughing internally this entire time that anyone would even think that Generation 10 would look like Beasts of Reincarnation. You guys gotta stop living in dreamland. Seriously.